with the kicks, huh?
Yeah. I got my athletic attire today after that fence fall. Really trying to up my mobility. Definitely gonna follow me, so. Yeah. So as you can probably tell, we've got a pretty windy day today. Ted and I are out here in the gillies. We're just still hunting real slow through this piece. We're scouting along the way, hoping to find fresh sign. We might set up on it, but really the goal of this outing is to scout and find a spot for a future setup. Jake and I got really close to a bedded buck in here the other day. With it being this windy, I'm fairly sure that if he's there, we'll have a decent chance of sneaking up on him. So we're gonna keep creeping through here, looking for sign.
Do I look good?
Yeah, you look great.
I thought so. One of my better paint jobs. All right, it's the afternoon of September 12th. Got some work done this morning at the library, and now got a chance to get out in the field this evening. Grant and Ted are actually out right now in this valley below me here. They came out for a couple hours midday. They've got an evening spot picked out, but they came out for a couple hours during the middle of the day because it's, as you can tell, it's breezy, blowing 25 to 35 miles an hour, gusts upwards of 40. So perfect conditions for still hunting and stalking. We're finding that some oaks have acorns on them, and just got a text from Ted saying that him and Grant walked up on a young buck feeding on acorns. Dylan and I are gonna work our way back into this property, about 3.5 miles back into the same marsh where we glassed a couple mornings ago. Saw a bunch of deer coming back into that marsh, and there's a couple of pockets of oaks back in there, and I want to check them out for sign. If there's any amount of acorns dropping in there, I think it's going to be the hot spot. It's where I found all kinds of intense sign last year. I think it was September 10th, and there was rubs, scrapes, fresh droppings, all the buck sign that you would hope to see. And when you find that kind of hot sign, that's where you can set up and kill the deer first time in. So that's what we're hoping to do tonight. Packing in light, just got the gillies, the bow, and backpack, some water. Stay hydrated, and we'll see what happens. It's gonna be fun. There we go. Gonna be more and more sign laid down every day as more of the bucks come out of velvet. September 12th today. Give it a couple more days, and I'd say 95% of them should be out. Archery season used to open September 15th in Nebraska, and I can't recall, maybe only one time ever seeing a velvet buck on September 15th or later. I guess I did shoot a velvet antler deer back in 2012, but it turned out to be an antler doe. So obviously the antlers are going to be more likely to be velvet covered. But nowadays the season opens September 1st, giving you a great chance at a velvet buck.
It's definitely a deer.
Well, we're walking through these oaks, and I could have swore I just saw the butt of a deer. Sure enough it is. Looks like it's dead, but I don't know.
It might be just relaxed.
It could be just...
Maybe he's just stretching out.
Could be a really relaxed big buck. So I'm gonna walk up there with an arrow nocked, but I think I'm probably just gonna find a dead doe. It just moved. He's so dead. There goes the wind. He's better than a doornail.
It did move though.
Huh?
It definitely moved.
He's just a really sickly deer.
Dude, it's a mountain lion.
No, you can see a white tail on it.
I think that actually is a mountain lion. Really? Look at it right now. Look at the tail.
Dude, that's a freaking mountain lion.
Oh my god.
It is. It's a mountain lion. Dude, that doesn't happen. Guys, we're literally just, we're still hunting through these oaks. And I look off to my right and I say, Ted, is that the butt of a deer? We've stood here for like 5 minutes thinking about it. We were thinking it's probably a dead deer. Ted had his binoculars up and he saw a tail flick and he goes, Grant, that's a mountain lion. It's definitely moving. At first we thought it was the wind, but you can see this thing's tail flick.
Yeah, you can see the tail. It should be 100%.
It's a big one too.
Yeah.
That's no small cat. Dad, do you realize what we've just done? Ready? Yeah, what are we gonna do? I want to sound as human as possible. I don't want to sound like a little animal, so I'm just gonna yell at him. He's gonna track us back to the truck. Yeah. Oh, we gotta set up soon anyway. Another spot. Hey! Hey, cat! Hey! Get up, or is he just...
No, he's just standing there looking at us. Or sitting there, yes.
I thought he would run. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, he's getting up, dude. There's John. Dude, that thing is awesome.
Look how still.
Good thing you ran away. Yeah, I'm scared.
I'm just jumpy. Any sound I hear
My God.
could be a freaking huge mountain lion.
Oh, God. Yeah, he definitely wasn't sick.
No.
It looked like his mange on his fur.
Yeah, it did. He's roughed up from rolling around. He's just laying on his back.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Who would have thought that you'd see a mountain lion right there
Laying on the ground.
in a creek bottom?
Yeah, you'd think. I always thought you'd see him in a tree, or you wouldn't see him until they were on top of you. That's crazy.
We almost didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have walked right by him.
Hide.
Ah, I thought it was a deer.
We thought it was a deer for a long time until the tail moved.
That's a huge mountain lion too, I think.
In Nebraska.
Yeah. I heard a staff. I'm trying to think what it is. I don't even want to say it because I don't want to get it way off, but it's like an astonishing number of deer.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, I think.
It was clueless, and even after I yelled at it, it was just
Yeah,
like,
it was just like, what the heck? It was sitting there looking at us, he didn't see us, but when he got up and just like slinked off, that's like,
it stays low.
oh yeah, it's like,
He's probably slinking up around us right now.
yeah, he's like the best hunter in the woods.
It's probably like, here's my chance, I'm gonna sneak up around. I'm gonna act like I'm spooked, sneak up around him.
Well guys, we just had a mountain lion encounter in Nebraska. That's pretty crazy, I think, anyway.
Pretty thick timber. Like, this isn't what I'd consider mountain lion country. We're in a river bottom.
Yeah, just laying at the base of a tree, just like nonchalant, super relaxed. We thought maybe he was sick because it looked like he had mangy fur kind of or something.
Yeah, he's all roughed up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's been a pretty crazy day so far. Had mule deer stalked this morning. Mountain lion encounter midday, and we're hunting whitetails tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we can get one down.
Yeah.
It's about 4:30 right now, and Dylan and I have worked our way back in about 3¼ miles, and we're pretty much to our destination. So what I want to do is get down into the head of this marsh and check some oaks that I had pinned when I'd scouted earlier this summer. There's a few of them that were bearing acorns, so I want to check on those, see if those have dropped, see if there's any fresh sign there, and if not, if there's not any really good fresh sign, buck sign, you know, rubs, scrapes, anything like that, what Dylan and I are going to do is just slowly still hunt our way up through this long marsh. We don't have any winds coming up that would be good for hunting back in here, so I'm going to take a little bit more aggressive strategy on this one today. Like I said, if we don't find really good sign, then we're just going to keep on moving and work our way back farther up into the marsh to where Dylan and I glassed those deer coming back down in off of the alfalfa fields. Just got into the first island of oaks here. And there's some broken caps here on the ground where the deer have been feeding. Not a lot of acorns on the ground. It's not going to be like last year where there's just loads of acorns everywhere. But every now and then there's a little pocket of them. We've got the marsh about 75 yards away. This little island of oak that parallels it. And it's fairly open through there. We're just going to work our way along kind of this back side of it. It's a little bit thicker, brushier, there's little knobs here and there. Give us a chance to peer up and over, see if there's any deer in there feeding. You getting them? Good. He's working the scrape right now, he's facing away. They might just end up going right back in the marsh. They must have made it just back into the marsh. Well, Dylan and I made a move on those bucks real quick. Where we first saw that yearling buck, we were back here at about 50 yards away.
he was moving from our left to right along the edge of the marsh. I lost sight of him for a couple seconds, and then as I was glassing trying to find him, Dylan spotted this big buck back in this corner. It was pretty funny to watch. That little buck started posturing, walked right up to that bigger buck. This wind is blowing hard enough. I mean, they had no clue. They're totally relaxed back in here. So Dylan and I backed out, got on the edge of the thick cover, and started moving down this way. The last thing I saw was that biggest buck making a scrape, and he was facing into the marsh. So Dylan and I closed the distance and got behind this knob right here to where it would have put us within about 30 yards of where that buck was at. When I poked my head up over the rise, he was gone. Like I said, the last thing he was doing was facing into the marsh, so I'm assuming him and that little buck just moved back into that marsh. And it makes total sense. That would be likely where that buck is bedding. It's right on the transition of this island of oaks and some real thick scrub brush. And then it opens up out into the marsh. So just all kinds of thick cover comes together at the head of this island of oaks. And that buck just popped out, made rubs, sparred with that smaller buck, and then I'm assuming went back in, or at least that's what we're hoping. Because if that's the case, I would imagine that at some point they're going to come back out. So Dylan and I are camped out on this knob here. Got some cover behind us. We're kind of settled into this brush. Ideally, I would like to be up in a tree, in the saddles. That was my original plan, was to throw them in, but one of us, who shall remain nameless, forgot their saddle, and we didn't have time to go back and get it. We're basically just at the point where we were making the decision whether we wanted to keep going or just set up on what we had found already. I mean, we didn't make it 75 yards through here until we started running into deer. Well, that buck didn't show back up. Neither of them did. In fact, no other deer showed up tonight. There's just not a lot of acorns in here. So it's not like last year where there was probably a bunch of deer feeding in here every night. But at least now we know there's a mature buck that's probably bedding real close to this island of oaks, possibly just on the end of it here. Best we can tell, we didn't spook them. So I feel like when we come back in here, whenever we get the right winds, and still have a chance of killing that buck or another good buck. That's it for now. We're out of camera light. Dylan and I are going to back out of here. And we'll reconvene with the other guys.
Okay.
So let's hear the story. How you walked up on a mountain lion.
Yeah. So we were still hunting through this piece, well, same piece that these guys, you guys were on.
Yeah.
And walked up on a buck, and then we're going down the trail a little further, and Grant's in front of me, and then he stops and he backs up and he's like looking, he's like, I think there's a deer bedded down or something, right?
It looked like the butt end of a deer.
Yeah.
Just like all I could see was a patch of brown fur and a little bit of white.
Yeah, it looked like a dead deer.
Yeah.
Because then it was like mangy fur, like up here.
Really?
Looked like mangy fur.
We got to looking at it, and it looked like a deer laying on its side, and then the back was all roughed up. So we figured like it was a dead deer and something had gotten into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how far were you at this point?
So that was like
Pretty close.
60 yards.
60?
50, 50 maybe. Yeah.
And it was real windy, and every once in a while we'd catch like a little flicker of movement from it.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, oh no, that's the wind.
Yeah, it looked like the wind like blowing a little, like looking like, nah.
And I was getting ready, like, just in case it was like a bedded deer, I knocked an arrow and I was getting ready to just walk at it, see what happened. Like, just figured it'd probably be a dead doe.
Yeah.
And right when I was about to do that, we see a long tail flicker.
Yeah, you just see this tail like
and a big paw come up.
like and like a paw came up. Yeah.
And Ted's like, Grant, I think that's a mountain lion.
in a calm voice like that?
Yeah. I think
I was like,
yeah.
like,
no, we were.
I think that's a mountain lion, dude.
Because we were so close.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it was. And usually, I always think, if you're gonna see a mountain lion, you're not gonna see a mountain lion, or it's gonna be too late or something.
Yeah.
You see it. But yeah,
That
he's
was
just
the
like
crazy
laying
thing.
there. So then we were thinking it was sick, like probably because it still looked like he had mangy fur.
Huh.
So we thought maybe he's probably sick or something. But
Well, what we realized then is the reason his back's all roughed up is because he kept rolling on his back
Yeah.
and just
No
laying there
kidding.
like rolling around like
Just loving life.
Yeah, like
yeah,
super
just a big house
relaxed.
cat.
Just like super relaxed, just rolling around, whatever. So then eventually, we're sitting there, and he sits up, and then you can see his head, and it's like
looking the other
yeah.
way.
Yeah, we're like, yep, definitely a mountain lion. But the head on him was just like big.
Yeah.
And you're like
Found you an adult.
intimidating. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that's a pretty big mountain. Did you see the picture?
I have not. That's sweet. That is sweet.
Yeah.
So his head was behind that tree and all we saw was
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where he was laying at.
Oh,
It's
I,
like
yeah, I
that.
can see that now. For some reason, I just pictured this thing being up in rocks or something. Like
No,
I wouldn't
no.
imagine.
No,
it was
it's
just
like
laying
that's
there.
the weird
surprise
thing
us.
is he's just like on the
Yeah.
in like a river bottom.
Yeah.
Just like laying in short grass, the river bottom stuff.
Yeah.
And we were starting to
Never
get
would
into
have
some
expected
deer.
it.
We were starting to get into some deer sign too.
Yeah. Looks like an adult.
Yeah.
Somebody out there will know.
Yeah.
That's a rare sighting to actually walk up on one like that. But
Yeah. So
you're
then
just taking advantage of. I mean, that's what you're hoping to do with a deer.
Yeah,
Right.
it's real.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, everybody today was like, the still hunting was working for sure today.
Yeah.
Because you guys walked up on a nice one. We walked up on a buck, little buck, and then a mountain lion. So, it's like, but so then we're like, well, what should we do? Eventually, he knocks an arrow and he's like hollers at it because to try to get it. Well, to even see the head we had to holler at it to see the head.
Yeah.
We were laughing because we're like, what if we would have started sneaking up on that thing and thinking
Yeah.
it's a deer the whole time, and then all of a sudden
We
he
were about
stands
to.
up
Yeah.
and it's a mountain lion.
Yeah.
We were
Just
like
about to.
20 yards from it. Yeah, it'd have been it'd been scary, but
That's crazy.
yeah.
That
So
is
then he gets up and he just kind of like, it's cool. The footage is cool because he
Yeah.
gets up and he's just like
Yeah, you just
out of there.
just slinking off.
Yeah.
Like
Just
was
like-
he looking at you over his shoulder or anything?
no,
or-
he just he sits like that for a while and just like looks at us like
Yeah.
screw you basically.
that was
then-
it was so scary.
Yeah, that's
'Cause I yelled at him.
Yeah.
And you can hear me in the video. I yell at him when he looks at us. And I say, "Oh, I thought he was gonna run. That's kind of scary. He was gonna run.
yeah.
I thought he was gonna run. That's kind of scary."
Yeah, and then eventually he gets up
He just
and
stared
then
at
it's
us.
just like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
That's cool. So you basically
pretty
spooked him in our direction,
Yeah.
yep,
up the drainage,
Yep.
Yeah.
right where we were walking through.
Appreciate that.
yeah.
I'd have loved to
problem.
seen him. I mean, that's
That's cool.
yeah, that is cool.